My wife left me while I was grieving my best friend's death, then tried to come back when I inherited money from him and opened a successful business. Discovered she'd been having an affair with my best friend's wife for years. I'm a 34-year-old guy whose entire world collapsed last year when my lifelong best friend Jake died shortly after discovering his wife's betrayal. Then my own wife abandoned me during my darkest hour, only to come crawling back when my circumstances suddenly changed. For context, Jake was my best friend since kindergarten, not just a friend but the brother I never had. He was there when my parents divorced nastily when I was 11, and I supported him when his little sister died from cancer when we were 15. We had the kind of friendship most people never experience in their lifetime. 8 months ago, Jake discovered his wife, Olivia, had been living a complete double life throughout their 5-year marriage. She was actually gay and had been secretly dating women while using their marriage as a cover to appease her ultra-conservative family. Jake was absolutely devastated. 3 weeks after this earth-shattering revelation, he was hit by a drunk driver during one of his late-night walks and died instantly. I fell into a deep depression after losing Jake. As his executor, his parents had passed years earlier, I took leave from work to handle his affairs while drowning in grief. My wife Jessica initially seemed supportive, but her patience quickly evaporated. 6 weeks after Jake's funeral, I overheard her complaining to her sister on the phone that she was stuck with the shell of a husband and that she didn't sign up for this. The real breaking point came when I returned home early from work to find Jessica comforting Olivia in our living room, directly beneath the photo of Jake I'd hung on our wall. I was furious that my wife would bring the woman who had destroyed Jake into our home. The argument that followed revealed a side of Jessica I'd never seen before. She defended Olivia, saying life wasn't black and white, and that Olivia deserved compassion despite her lies. Over the next few weeks, our marriage disintegrated. Jessica spent more time at Olivia's house than our own, bringing her meals and helping her cope. Meanwhile, I was drowning in my own grief with no support from my wife. 3 months after Jake's death, Jessica packed her bags and left. Her parting words cut deep. "I'm choosing compassion over bitterness. Call me when you find yours again." For the first few weeks after she left, I was numb. I threw myself into work and focused on finalizing Jake's estate. That's when I discovered something that changed everything. Jake had been quietly making smart investments for years. His will left me nearly $1.8 million with a letter explaining he wanted me to use it to open the classic car restoration shop we'd always dreamed about. The letter read, "If you're reading this, something happened to me before we got our shop off the ground. Don't let our dream die too. You're the most talented mechanic I know, and you've wasted too many years working for people who don't appreciate you. Take this and build something that would make me proud." 4 months after Jessica left, I quit my corporate job, purchased a foreclosed garage space, and started Phoenix Classics, named for rising from the ashes. Working with my hands again, creating something tangible that honored Jake's memory, it slowly brought me back to life. I hired 2 experienced restoration specialists and took on 3 apprentices, including Jake's younger cousin who moved to town. 6 months after opening, the business was thriving with bookings scheduled 6 months out. A local business magazine featured our shop, highlighting how I'd transformed grief into purpose. The article mentioned Jake's inheritance and how I'd honored his memory through the business. 3 days after the article was published, Jessica showed up at the shop. She looked different, hair freshly styled, wearing a dress I'd never seen before, makeup perfect. I was elbow-deep in the engine bay of a '67 Mustang when she walked in, complimenting the shop and running her hand along the car's polished fender. With manufactured casualness, she suggested we talk about reconciliation. Something felt off immediately. Jessica had never shown interest in my greasy hobby before. In fact, she'd actively discouraged it throughout our marriage, complaining about the oil stains on my clothes and the waste of time spent on old cars. When I asked about Olivia, Jessica mentioned she was better and dating someone new. Then she stepped closer, saying seeing me thriving made her realize what she'd walked away from. "The article made you realize," I corrected her. "The article that mentioned Jake's inheritance." Her protest seemed rehearsed, but I already knew the truth. Jessica's sister had called me the previous day, uncomfortable with how Jessica had been boasting about potentially coming into some money if she reconciled with her successful husband. Jessica tried tears next, asking if I was really going to throw away 8 years of marriage over one mistake. But as I looked at her, I felt nothing but a dull ache for what we once had. You didn't make one mistake, I told her. You made a choice day after day for months. You chose to support the woman who betrayed my best friend. You chose to invalidate my grief. You chose to walk out when I needed you most. And now you're choosing to come back when you think there's something in it for you. I informed her that I'd filed for divorce 3 weeks earlier. The papers would arrive the next day. Her expression hardened instantly. You'll regret this. You're throwing away a chance to fix things because you can't let go of the past. No, I replied. I'm embracing my future because I finally understand my worth. Jake knew it all along. It just took losing everything to see it myself. Here's where things took an unexpected turn. 2 weeks after Jessica received the divorce papers, I discovered something that made everything infinitely worse and clearer. One of Jake's investments had been in a small tech startup that Olivia had introduced him to through her brother. While going through more of Jake's personal files to finalize some tax matters, I found emails between Olivia and Jessica dating back 3 years. They weren't just friends, they were intimately involved. The emails revealed that Jessica had known about Olivia's double life for years and had actually encouraged her to maintain the marriage with Jake as a cover while they continued their affair. In one particularly damning message, Jessica wrote, "Just a few more years until we've saved enough to leave together. Jake and Mark will never understand, but we deserve happiness too." The revelation hit me like a physical blow. Not only had my wife been unfaithful, but she had actively participated in destroying Jake's life. Her sudden departure to support Olivia after Jake's death wasn't about compassion, it was about finally being with her lover without having to hide. Her return after the magazine article made perfect sense now. With Jake's money funding my new business, Jessica saw an opportunity to cash in on the success while maintaining her relationship with Olivia behind my back. Their plan had likely been for Jessica to reconcile with me, then gradually shift assets before leaving again. I forwarded the emails to my divorce attorney, who called them a gift from heaven for our case. The judge was equally unimpressed with Jessica's conduct when the emails were submitted as evidence during our divorce proceedings. Her claims to half my business assets were summarily dismissed. The divorce was finalized 6 months after Jessica's visit to the shop. She received nothing from the business and only her legally mandated portion of our marital assets from before our separation. The last I heard, she and Olivia had moved to another state. It's been almost a year since Jake died. Phoenix Classics now employs 7 people and has expanded to a second location. I've started dating again recently, a kind, straightforward woman who owns the coffee shop next door to my original garage. She brings me coffee each morning and actually listens when I talk about restoration techniques. There's a special corner of the shop with Jake's photo and his beat-up old toolbox that I use every day. Sometimes customers ask about it, and I tell them the shop exists because one man believed in me more than I believed in myself. The betrayal still hurts when I think about it. Not just Jessica's infidelity, but the calculated cruelty of both women toward Jake, who never deserved any of it. Yet somehow, even in death, Jake managed to give me the foundation to rebuild my life when it seemed everything was lost. If there's any advice I can offer from this mess, pay attention to how people treat you when you're at your lowest. That's who they really are. And sometimes, the people we lose continue to take care of us long after they're gone.